Avatu mam avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sanno Mitra Samvaruna Sanno Bhavatyo Aryamaha Sanno Indro Brihaspati Sanno Vishnu Urukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvamevam Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvamevam Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avinmam avidvaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Suryayo Diviva Chakshu Atatam Tad Vipraso Vipanyavo Jagrivam Sayat Samhindate Paramam Padam. Om Madhav Madhav Vachi Madhav 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 Ridhi Smaranti Sadhava Sarvakaryeshu Madhavam. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We will sip Archman now. Wash your hands. Harihi Om Hasta Praksharam. Wash your hands first, quickly. Yep. Take the water in the right hand. No. Take a, spill enough water, a drop of water in your right hand. We will repeat this procedure 3 times. Right hand, yep. All right. Om Keshvaya Namaha. Sip it.
Om Keshvaya Namaha.
Next. Om Naranaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Again. Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Repeat after me. Wash your hands. Yeah. Repeat after me. Om Apavitraha
Avivitraha.
Pavitro Va
Pavitro va.
Sarvavastham
Sarvavastham.
Gatopi Va
Gatopi va.
Yasmaret
Yasmare.
Pundarikakshaha
Pundarikakshaha.
Sa Bhya
Bhya.
Bhyantaraha
Yantaraha.
Suchihi
Suchi.
Om Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. We will sip water again. Om Keshvaya Namaha. Om Naranaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Wash your hands and repeat after me. Om Apavitra
Avivitraha.
Pavitro Va
Pavitro va.
Sarvavastham
Sarvavastham.
Gato
Gato.
Piva
Piva.
Yasmaret
Yasmare.
Pundarikakshaha
Pundarikakshaha.
Sa
Sa.
Bhya Bhyantaraha
Yantaraha.
Suchihi
Suchi.
Om Shri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu.
Shri Vishnu
Shri Vishnu.
Shri Vishnu.
Shri Vishnu.
Again, sip water. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Naranaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Wash your hands and repeat after me. Om Apavitra
Apavitra.
Pavitro Va
Pavitro va.
Sarvavastham
Sarvavastham.
Gato
Gato.
Diva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sa Bhya Bhyantaraha Suchihi Om Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. So by chanting the Lord's names, one becomes purified inside out. It's not the ritual of drinking water, but it is the ritual of, not the ritual, but the chanting of the holy names that purifies one. All right. Now, request, is Krishna Lila here?
Yeah.
Where's Krishna Lila? If you can change the ladies' kantimala and garland them, and your husband can change the men's kantimala and garland them. Before that, somebody can garland me. Bhajagovinda Prabhu, can you start with the Brahma Samhita prayers? Where are the Brahma Samhita sheets? What? Bhajagovinda Prabhu? It's the sheets are in those boxes.
On the side.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see
Big sheets.
laminated. Big box here.
Then do it, Pero. Do it, Just we will, devotees, please stay quiet. We will start with the Brahma Samhita prayers. Bhajagovinda Prabhu will be leading us into the Brahma Samhita prayers. Prabhu, you can start. Chidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakrasadmashukalpa Vriksha Laksha Viteshu Survira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sastra Sattva Sambharam Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Indamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venam Kvanantam Aravindam Dalayataksham Varahavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Darpakoti Gamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Put in the rubbish. Vilasam Namam Tribangam Niyadamitam Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Tushta Prabhu Galan Tushta Prabhu Galan ka tumhara Tamaham Bhajami Indamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Adhiranantarupam Adyam Puranam Purusham Navayuvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabhadurlabh Atmabhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Koti Satasam Samgamyo Vyayunatapi Munipungavanam Zamaham Bhajami Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yadbhava Bharita
तथैव सम्प्राप्य रूपमहिमा सन्न्यवासभूषः सुप्तेर्यमेव निगमपतितैः सुपन्ति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं
भजामि
आनन्दचिन्मयरस्य प्रतिभावतस्मै तातीर्य एव निजरूपतया कलाभि गोलोक एव निवसति आत्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि प्रेमाञ्जनाचुरिता
भक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्यगुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं
तमहं भजामि
रामादिमूर्तिशोकनियमेन
रामादिमूर्तिशुकलनियमेन तिष्ठा ज्ञानावतारमकरोदभुवनेषु किन्तु
कृष्णा स्वयं सम्भवात् ब्रह्माद्वयं यो
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्या प्रभावजगज्जगत्कोटि कोटिसुरसुरादिविभूतिनं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलम् अनन्तमेकं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि मायादियस्य जगदन्तसदादिसूते प्रविलिन्यतद्विषयैरदधामानः सर्ववदन्वकर्तव्यविशुद्धसत्त्वं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयसराशु यप्राणिप्राप्तप्रपदस्मरनिवेद्य लीलायितेव भुवनानि जगद्भदश्यं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोलोकनामि निजतानि तले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिकामसुतेषु तेषु ते प्रभाविषयाभिधस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्री 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 प्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेखा जायेव यस्य भुवनानि विदर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य चिरेश तेषां गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रियं यदादितारविकर्तयोग सञ्जायते नमितपस्तु यस्यानुतमपि तस्मै प्रसगात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपाचेव हितशाकरपायुपेभ्यः दीपायते विपदे सुसमानकर्मा यस्सत्यदेव शरणं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यज्ञानदर्शति समेस्तयोगा मित्रामनन्तजगदन्तसरोमकूपा आनन्दशक्तिमवलम्बपरं समूर्तिं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि
Accept that please don't sit here. This is the long way. Sit
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatpada Pallavidam Vidanatakumba Vande Pranama Samse Katvaniraja Vilam Samarasa Jagat Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Abhi Mama Karunam Varudidasya Kalasa Bhasta Manasanja Gadatrayami Yasma Bhavanti Vadanti Vishanti Yamsha Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Yashaksaresha Sakita Sakala Grahana Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasarnamanti Samarati Kalada Chakro Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Sarma Ramavani Sadat Suratastavansi Brahma Gita Pradasa Gadasta Jiva Yadata Mantra Vigana Prakata Prabhava Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Yase Mahendra Gopa Vedeta Mahasa Karma Vandana Rupa Balada Jaganata Koti Karma Nidhati Shavati Padram Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Yamikodama Sahajata Priyadi Vinsi Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Seva Bhatvai Sanjivasya Satyam Dharmamada Prayere Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamadipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Shri Kalpataro Sruvamurti Chintayanamai Soyamatam Katananatam Divam Sipriya Saki Chidanandam Jyoti Paramari Katananatam Sayaste Shurati Paramam Surati Chaswa Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Okay, there we go. You've already done
And there is the preliminary chanting. Hare Krishna devotees, if you can be seated now. Everybody is standing, could find a place to sit down. Before we start, we have got Gurudev here. In Gurudev's welcome, let us all chant Hare Krishna once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll say a few words introducing Gurudev. Bir Krishna Goswami is one of the spiritual leaders of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He has a special status of being among the first Western-born members of the authorized chain of disciplic succession descending from the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. In modern times, the most essential task of Krishna conscious spiritual master is to publish the Vedic scriptures of ancient India and distribute them throughout the world. Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj has made this his mission, his life and soul. Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj spent his childhood in Long Island, New York. As an academically gifted student at the Northwestern University, he began reading the Vedic literatures translated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the Krishna consciousness movement. Impressed by Srila Prabhupada's scholarship and saintliness, Bir Krishnadas Goswami Maharaj became a member of the Krishna conscious community in Gainesville, Florida in 1971. Shortly thereafter, he was initiated as Srila Prabhupada's disciple. From the very beginning, Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj distinguished himself by his oratory skills, his spiritual dedication, and his devotion to studying the writings of his spiritual master, through which he acquired a deep knowledge of the process of Krishna consciousness. In 1972, Gurudev began traveling throughout the United States, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books and lecturing at colleges and universities. This continued until 1974, when Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj became directly involved in the publication of Srila Prabhupada's books in English and Spanish. He also spoke widely in South America, Central America, and the Caribbean on the science of Krishna consciousness. In early 1978, Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj entered the renounced order of spiritual life, the Sannyas Ashram in Lima, Peru. In 1982, he came to North Carolina and opened its first permanent Krishna consciousness center. In 1995, he began to work with the GBC, the governing body commission of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Maharaj travels widely across North America, Europe, Australasia, and Fiji, and has got many disciples around the world. All glories to Srila Gurudev Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Before Gurudev begins, we'll very quickly chant the Sankalpa mantras. Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Govinda 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 Shubhe Shobhane Muhurte Adya Bhagavato Mahapurusasya Shri Vishnuragya Parvatmanasya Adya Brahmana Dvitya Praharde Shri Shvetavaraha Kalpe Vaivashvat Manvantare Ashtam Visamti Kalyugasya Pratham Pade Jambu Dvipe Mero Digbhage Hiranyamai Varshe Australia Mahadvipe Sydney Mahanagri Antargat Vyavaharikam Prabdi Shashti Samvakta Madhya Uttarayanam Amukrito Amukmasase Shubhamasase Shubhapakshase Amuktito Vasare Ravivar Vasare Yuktayam Nakshar Yuktayam Shri Vishnu Yoga Shri Vishnu Karane Shubha Yoga Shubha Karane Sakala Graha Guna Visheshtayam Asyam Shubhautito Mama Upata Samasta Duritshaya Dwaramam Saha Kutumbam Saha Mitra Shema Stirdhairya Virya Vijaya Ayurarogya Artham Shri Radha Gopinath Priti Artham Sakala Vaishnava Sannidho Go Brahman Vaishnav Sannidho Aham Vaishnava Diksha Samskar Harinam Mantra Diksha Samskar Karishye Shri Radha Krishna Pritiyartam Samarpaye Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Now Gurudev will address the devotees and give the initiation lecture. So I request everybody to be seated and remain quiet. Parents, please mind your children. Thank you. Haribol. Yeah.
So, Om Ganah.
Timidandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmeditam Yena Tasmai Shigurve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So today we are celebrating Vaishnava Diksha, Vaishnava Harinam initiation, as was stated in the Sankalpa. I want to speak a little bit about a Sankalpa, because people think it's just a ritual to say the Sankalpa. What he was saying was, we're here on the specific day of the sun, the moon, and he used the Sanskrit word Sydney in there. Which is very interesting. I didn't know that was translated like that. So a sankalpa basically means an intention, like what you're doing. And the reason the intention should be declared at the beginning of any sacrifice is that it helps you focus. So it's very important to be able to control the mind and focus, especially in spiritual life, or even in material life. We were speaking in the car coming over that one devotee wanted to make billions of dollars. So I told him, you got to work very hard and focus. And he didn't like that much, because he thought it would all just come from Krishna. But as they say, man proposes, God disposes. And according to the Gita, there's 5 factors of action, and Krishna is one of the factors. But the other factors you actually have under your control. So in order to focus, you have to really have a goal, an intention, a sankalpa. Without that, your mind will wander. The reason I'm talking about that, because our perfection in Krishna consciousness is dependent on how we can focus our mind on the holy name. We are called, this thing is drifting gradually. That's all right, it's going down, okay. So, we are called the Hare Krishna movement for the reason that we do chant Hare Krishna. But there is a quality, dependent upon what quality we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, that determines how quickly we will advance in devotional service and how much we will please Krishna and how many offenses we're going to commit. So the common question that people ask me when I go to the houses is that my mind is going all over the place. Chanchalahi manaha Krishna pramati balavadridam tashaham nigraham manye vayor eva shadushkaram, as Arjuna says in the Gita. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, and to control it is more difficult than the wind. This is a standard question I get practically in every place. And I can't concentrate on my japa. 16 rounds, but usually I'm not even aware when I finish my 16 rounds. As the joke goes, please wake me up when the rounds are finished. And we're really not conscious of what we're doing. We're actually performing Krishna unconsciousness, the Krishna unconsciousness movement. So sometimes you think, did I chant my rounds today? I don't remember. Did I chant my Gayatri today? I don't remember. Did I eat prasadam? No, you you never ask that question of yourself because you know you ate. It's important to you. Chanting, well, maybe not so important to you, but that's not good. So really to be able to focus, the answer to the question that I get all the time is you have to have a sankalpa. Before you chant, while you chant, after you chant, you should be thinking, why am I chanting? What is my motivation? And it should be a positive motivation. Not simply I'm chanting because if I don't chant, I go to hell. That's a negative motivation. And that doesn't really get you to focus. I'm chanting out of fear, whatever. We should be chanting even if our motivation is not completely pure, like that of Dhruva Maharaj. At least it helps us focus. As stated in the Bhagavatam, akama, mokshakama, akama, mokshakama, sarvakama, udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajetu purusham param. Whether you are full of material desires, sarvakam, whether you're mokshakam, desiring liberation, or whether you're akam or have no desire, no material desire, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. What is that? Tivrena means forceful, but not in a negative sense. It means very focused. Like anybody who has met Prabhupada knows that he was always very focused, 24 hours a day, because he was remembering his sankalpa. And his sankalpa, if I had to really think about it, Prabhupada's sankalpa was to please his spiritual master, because he was inspired by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary in the Bhagavad Gita on the verse Vyavasayatmaka Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana, where Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about one-pointed determination, which is what that verse refers to. And he says that's the order of the spiritual master, and Prabhupada would often say, the order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Very interesting. And of course, we all know the verse, Yashal Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yashal Prasadana Gati Gatopi. So that was Prabhupada's sankalpa. And always thinking of how to please Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And of course, that was why Prabhupada was empowered. And of course, he's an interested devotee. We understand that. So we have to have a sankalpa, of course, to desire to fulfill the order, the instructions of the spiritual master, the desire of the spiritual master. That's very nice. So our sankalpa, in addition to that, should be connected to something that really strikes us, is really important to us. And that may vary from day to day. You know, we may be praying for our family member who's very sick. We may be praying for pure devotional service. We may be praying to help me become detached from this material world. Whatever your prayer is, it has to come from the heart. It's described that if you're chanting and tears are not coming from your eyes, your heart is steel framed. So the chanting has to be done from the heart. Of course, we move our lips and the tongue and everything like that, but it has to be an emotional component. I want this. Like a child, like Prabhupada said, referring to the Shikshashika verse, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho. Kripaya tava pada pankaja stita duli sadrasham vichintya. O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Kinkaram. Please save me. Fix from this horrible material world. The actual Sanskrit says horrible material world. And fix me as one of the atoms or specks of dust at your lotus feet. So you're begging. You're begging. I had one godbrother, he passed away, he's a very nice godbrother, Gaur Govinda Maharaj. And he said about his temple that he was opening up a crying ashram. Some of you may have heard about this before. Of course, we don't want devotees crying in the temple while they're chanting japa. That would be very disturbing. However, at the same time, we have to have that intense emotion. And then, again, that means sankalpa. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? For Krishna, for the spiritual master. I want to be Krishna conscious. I want to please, and it's all based on personal relationships. Krishna consciousness is personal. We want to please Krishna. We want to please the spiritual master. We're praying to be able to do it. We're praying to be able to focus. And then you will chant good japa. Okay. And then you will be very effective in spreading Krishna consciousness, which is everyone's mission. When you're taking initiation in the Krishna consciousness movement, you're taking initiation as a soldier in the Krishna consciousness movement. Not just as a hanger-on. But you're a soldier. You're joining Krishna's army. Prabhupada had that mood like a Kshatriya. For example, Prabhupada said in the final days when he was very sick, give me the benediction of leaving this world, leaving the body, on the battlefield of preaching. I'm just paraphrasing Prabhupada's words. Prabhupada said, we want devotees like Arjuna. This is part of initiation. Not that you have to fight with weapons. Of course, in my country, you fight with weapons, but it's a little bit different. I feel a lot safer here in Australia. So, not that you have to fight with weapons. It's. I don't think you could tighten it anymore without breaking it. It's pretty tight. So, but you fight with the challenge to bring people to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, to Krishna's, Radha Gopinath's lotus feet. And it requires some spirit, some passion. Not simply, Prabhupada said, we're not so interested in sit-down devotees. Of course, we give our mercy to everyone. Okay, you want to sit down. You want to go to Vrindavan at the ripe old age of 45 and retire, just to make sure that you'll die in Vrindavan when you're going to actually die like 50 years from now, in case something happens. But Prabhupada, in the final years, he was going to London. He was basically, Prabhupada describes it was like a bag of bones in extreme pain. That's a fighter. Like you see in the Mahabharata war, when the Kshatriyas like Arjuna and others were hit by arrows, they didn't just lie down and cry for their mothers. They pulled the arrows out, right? He was filled with arrows. Yet he kept rushing at Arjuna, right? Finally, Arjuna had to just fill him with more arrows. So much it's described in the Mahabharata that you could not even put a finger between the arrows, finger's width between the arrows. Everything but the head. Obviously, it didn't hit the head. And it was just too much. And Grandfather Bhishma couldn't move. But if he could move, even with the arrows in him, he was ready to fight. Wow. No, I don't expect that of each and every devotee who's taken initiation. That's a lot of determination. I don't even expect that of myself. But the concept is that we should be ready to carry out the mission. Yes, we're chanting, we're going back to Godhead, hopefully. We're going back to Godhead, becoming free from karma, which is kind of nice. Except for me, I have to take everyone's karma, but we become free from karma, we can eat a lot of prasadam, dance in kirtan, but we have to develop the essential quality of a Vaishnava, which is compassion for others. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha. Kripa sindhu, right? An ocean of compassion. And in order to do that, we have to be thinking about the welfare of others continually. So that is expected. And if we do that, our japa will be very good. Our worship of the deities will be very high standard. Our relationships will be very good. Loving relationships with Vaishnavas. Instead of thinking, I should be the controller, I should be the boss of the Vaishnavas. But love. Just like recently we've been reading the Jaiva Dharma by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And just hearing about these amazing, loving relationships with the Vaishnavas, how young devotees, older devotees, they're just so happy to see someone advance in devotional service, no mundane competition. So this is our Krishna consciousness movement. Okay. And so if we think like that, okay, let's talk about the 10 offenses which we have to talk about during the initiation. Because there's devotees here who are taking first initiation, and there's devotees who are taking second or mantra diksha initiation. We'll speak about both topics. First initiation is called Harinam initiation, which means being given the goal, the purpose, and the vows to chant the Hare Krishna mantra properly, because everything's there in the Hare Krishna mantra. Namachintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashuddha Nityamukto Vinatvam Namanami. No? And so there are positive and negative injunctions insofar as the personal sadhana of a devotee. We talked about the preaching or the sharing of Krishna consciousness. Now we talk about the personal sadhana. So as far as the personal sadhana, there's negative injunctions, what not to do. Like in yoga, you have yam and niyam, the negative and the positive injunctions. And it's interesting, the word for negative injunctions is yama. And there's a very nice king who's in charge of negative injunctions. What's his name? Yamaraj, right, you got it. So if you don't follow the, this is a threat. Anyway, if you don't follow you should not do, negative injunctions, then you get to have a darshan with His Divine Grace Yamaraj. So, our negative injunctions insofar as chanting the holy name. Of course, you got the 4 regulative principles, which are also negative injunctions. no meat, fish, or eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, and meat eating. Or the reason we follow those is because if you don't follow those, you got bad karma and you see Yamaraj. Good reason to follow the four regulated principles. And it puts you in the lower modes of nature so you won't understand Krishna consciousness. So it's really counterproductive for spiritual life, counterproductive for compassion, counterproductive for being sane, counterproductive for having a clear mind. I was just mentioning this morning in our class that we see that when devotees go to the uni to study, they invariably do better than everybody else because they're not taking herbal medicine. I think everybody knows what herbal medicine is. So, because their minds are clearer. It's practical. Their minds are clearer. So those are the negative injunctions. And of course, you cannot understand Krishna consciousness if you're not following them. The Bhagavatam states in the 10th canto, first chapter, Nivrittatar Shar Upagiyamanat Pavalkshiral Shrotra Mano Biramat Ko Uttama Shloka Gunanavadat Puman Virajeta Bina Pashugnat. If one is Pakshugnat, killing animals or doing cruel things or breaking the regulated principles, you won't be able to appreciate Krishna. It's as simple as that. So that's why we have these four regulated principles, which those who are taking first initiation will vow to follow. And so then we have the negative injunctions in regard to the holy names, what not to do. You got 10 of them, so I'm going to recite them real quickly. And I'll also give their positive aspect of the negative. You'll see what I mean. First one is one should not blaspheme devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name of the Lord. Okay, that's obvious because if you blaspheme them, Krishna is displeased because you have to please Krishna's devotee to make spiritual life. If you displease Krishna's devotee, nagati katopa, you're finished. Okay, that's obvious. So what's the positive? The positive is praise them, serve them. Take the positive of the negative. I don't like negative stuff so much because you can't do a don't, right? Try not to do something, it doesn't work. But you do something and then it automatically takes care of the don't. So the next, I'll go through quickly. The next offense is consider the names of the demigods, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Ganesh, Chandi, so many demigods. I don't have time to go through all 33 million right now. But pick your favorite one. To consider them to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. Because their names, in general, their names are names of their position. You can become Indra. Of course, you can't become Ganesh, you can't become Lord Shiva. But these personalities are lesser than Krishna. And in general, the names of the demigods are different than the actual person, whereas Krishna's name is the same as him. And Krishna says in the Gita, Ham Adirhi Devanam, I'm the source of the demigods. And people who worship the demigods without considering their position, avidi purvakam, it's not the right process, Krishna states. You can worship the demigods as devotees. That's fine. You want to worship Lord Shiva? I have Lord Shiva on my altar. I have Hanuman on my altar. No other demigod, but those two. And they're devotees. In Bhubaneswara, which is called Gupta Kashi in India, they take, what does Lord Shiva eat? He eats the Mahaprasadam from Lord Jagannath. Every day they transport, put in a taxi, bring the Mahaprasadam and Lord Shiva eats. Chaitanya Mangal describes when Lord Shiva got Mahaprasadam, he started dancing in ecstasy and he refused to share any with his wife. And she finally got it. She got angry at her husband, Durga, and she made Lord Vishnu give her Mahaprasadam and she distributed it to the rest of us, and that's why we're here. So, So the next offense is to disobey the order of the spiritual master. And of course, one doesn't follow the order of the spiritual master blindly. One has the right to approach the spiritual master and say, why? What should I do this? Why is the reason for that? And also present, I wouldn't say arguments, but opinions of different courses of action that maybe should be done, but ultimately one follows. Anyway, I'm not going to tell that story. It's too interesting. So anyway, so the idea is the positive one follows the order of the spiritual master. Another offense is to decry or criticize the Vedic literatures or literatures in pursuance of the Vedic version. That means any literatures, whether they're Eastern literatures, Western literatures, Northern literatures, Southern literatures, that glorify God, we're happy with. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the Chaitanya Shamrita that we can go and see other people worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they may have a different name from God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, and we appreciate they're worshiping the same God in a different way, in a different cultural way. We are able to look beyond the cultural veneers, that means the coverings, and see the essence or the love of God that someone has. Very important. So, a next offense is to consider the glories of the holy name to simply be imagination. And they're not imaginations. Directly Krishna, when you chant Krishna's name, he's there. That's the positive. He's there. You can experience him. Oftentimes when I'm dealing with people who don't know much about Krishna consciousness, I say, you try chanting. Don't believe what I'm saying. In fact, it's better you don't believe because, as Prabhupada said, doubt is a sign of intelligence. But approach it openly. You try something. And so you chant and see how you feel after you've chanted. Chant one round today. Come back to me tomorrow. Tell me how much ecstasy you're in. Of course, you can suggest they're going to be in ecstasy. That helps. So, and then the people start chanting. It's really amazing because Krishna is there. In the beginning, Namabash, maybe you don't believe, but you'll experience. Okay. So, the next offense is to give some concocted, perverted interpretation of the holy name of the Lord. Like saying it increases the alpha waves or the beta waves or whatever, and that's why you're feeling ecstasy. Like sometimes people do that. So instead, give the real understanding of the holy name. What does the name Krishna mean? The name Krishna, of course, is the name of Krishna, obviously. But it's composed of two syllables. Krishna. Krish means attraction, to attract. Like Krishna says in the Gita, Krishi Goraksha Vanajan Vaishya Karma Swabhavajan, which means the Vaishya uses a tractor, but his tractor is a bull, an oxen. So pulls, attract. So Krishna attracts you, Krish attracts you. Na means short for Ananda, which means bliss. So Krishna's name gives you bliss. And Rama means he's the supreme enjoyer. And Hare refers to Radharani in the vocative form, crying out, Radharani, please engage me in Krishna's service. So if you want to interpret the holy name, or then go do it according to what the acharyas say. There's no problem with that. So the next offense, which is the seventh offense, is to commit sins on the strength of chanting, because as I mentioned before, when you chant, you get rid of all that bad karma. You dump it all out on the poor guru. So, no, not really. You get rid of it. And it's described even by Namabash chanting, all the karma, that's parabdha karma, aparabdha karma, I'm not going to describe those terms right now, is all finished. So you think, I can chant, and then I can do any damn thing. Chanting my japa, all right. Take some herbal medicine again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Oh, I can focus my mind better. Anyways, don't think like that. That's offensive. You're thinking you're getting excuse for sinful activities. So instead, don't do it. Don't commit sinful activities. And the eighth offense is to consider the chanting to be like a ritual. I mean, we have many rituals in the Krishna conscious movement. For example, we're wearing tilak. You know, I have a bald head with a sika. Of course, the baldness is involuntary. Not voluntary, but somehow or other. We have a bald head with a sika. Okay, it's nice. But none of these can be compared to the chanting of the holy name. In fact, it's described, even if you compare hundreds or thousands or millions of ashwamedha, gomedha, whatever, big sacrifices, fire sacrifices, with one chanting of Krishna's names, you're DEMON. So, cannot be compared. Nothing compares. The Nama Yagya, the sacrifice of the holy name. And what makes this sacrifice auspicious is we're chanting the holy name at the same time. And while he's doing the sacrifice, if there's any moment of silence, devotees should be going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And that takes care of all other mantras. Of course, he's going to chant other mantras, hopefully. But that takes care. Just realize that. We got everything. Purna, Shuddha, Nitya Mukto, right? It's complete, it's pure, eternally liberated. It's not, Vinatvam Namanamino, it's non-different than Krishna. And finally, but the ninth offense is one should not instruct the glories of the holy name to those, I'm not going to use the word faithless, to those who can't understand it, who are not ready for it. So what does that mean? The positive is, when you're talking to someone, understand who you're talking to. When I first came to a Hare Krishna temple, they didn't understand who they were talking to. That doesn't mean I'm thinking it was great. But I walked into the temple, and immediately they told me I wasn't qualified to read Prabhupada's books because I was a Rakshasa. I was... Hey, whatever, infidel, whatever you may call me, a kafir. So they told, I tried to pick up the Upanishad, and they said, no, you can't understand it. Great. And then they told me if I didn't join immediately, this is the old days, I'm sure you don't do that anymore, but if I didn't join immediately, Kali Yuga was coming, and I was going to be as short as a dwarf, living underground, eating human flesh within a very short amount of time. Like the threat. And I thought, that's it. I've overdosed on Krishna consciousness. Get me away from here as fast as I can go. And I did. I just avoided the devotees for 2 more years. It was 2 years out of my life I lost. I was chanting, but from the association of devotees, because the devotees were preaching in a way that was not appropriate to me or for me. Instead, they should have just given me a prasadam and asked me, what's your background? I would have explained I was a scientist. Okay. Happy to meet you, Mr. Scientist. Really, thank you for coming. I was, let me join. So you have to learn the art of presenting Krishna consciousness. We had another devotee who would go out on book distribution and say to the people he was distributing books to, using this verse from the Bhagavatam, Swavidvara Hostrakarai Samstuta Purusha Pashudna Yat Karna Patopita Jatudama Gadagraja. And I'll translate that. That people who are like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses don't glorify Krishna or glorify other people. Imagine you're approaching someone on the street and you're saying, you're a hog, you're a dog, you're a camel. Camel they might not have related to, but I think ass they would relate to. There's a verse from the Bhagavatam. So you understand how to present Krishna consciousness, because if you drive someone away, you're responsible for that. And sometimes you don't. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Jaiva Dharma, it says, sometimes you don't present Krishna consciousness at all if people are going to commit offenses and criticize. Simple. Use your brain when presenting Krishna consciousness. And the last offense is not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name. and to maintain material attachments. Of course, having material attachments is not an offense, but we should be in the clearing stage trying to get rid of material attachments. And we get rid of these attachments by having a positive attachments. Not that you have to think about your attachments. You think about positive things, Krishna consciousness, helping people, like we mentioned before, having compassion. How can I help someone? To me, that was always very important because that was Prabhupada's, one of his principal teachings, one of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's principal teachings. Namaruchi, Jiva Doi, isn't it? Vaishnava Seva. These are the important things. Namaruchi, having a taste for the holy name. Jiva Doi, having compassion for other Jiva souls. So that's really the point. So as far as that offense is concerned, we should be trying to become more and more attached to Krishna. It's simple. That's a positive. Also, there's an overriding offense, which is not one of the 10 offenses, which is called inattentive chanting. But that inattentive chanting is taken care of if we have the sankalpa, if we have some emotional intensity, and that's what I talked about in the beginning of this whole talk. And on the positive side of chanting, we advise everyone to study the Shikshashtaka, the 8 prayers left by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everything is contained within these 8 prayers, how to chant the holy name. And you will find one of the prayers, at least one of them, that resonates with you, that's important to you. Some of them may not resonate. Like for the last prayer in the Shikshashtaka is, Krishna, you may crush me by your embrace, you may make me brokenhearted by not being present before me. You're completely free to do anything and everything, and you will remain my worshipful Lord unconditionally. I mean, very few of us think like that. Usually I say, Krishna, don't crush me. Be nice to me. Don't send me any more difficulty. Right? Like Queen Kunti, she prays, please let these troubles happen again and again. And Prabhupada said, we should not pray like that. We should pray, the material world is enough trouble. So, all right, and that's first initiation. Promises are taken in this particular regard about what I just discussed, 10 offenses, the 4 regulated principles, and chanting 16 rounds of Japamala every day. And promises are meant to be kept. You're taking promises in front of the deities, you're taking promises in front of Prabhupada, in front of the other Vaishnavas. It's very serious. In polite society, Prabhupada couldn't believe it when devotees sometimes broke promises. He was shocked, because Prabhupada was brought up in a very high culture. So we should imbibe that high culture. We stick to it. Vyavasayatmika buddhur ekeha kurunandara. And then very shortly, about second initiation, which is Brahminical initiation, mantra, diksha. This is the initiation where one gets the Gayatri mantras. And not only does one get some new mantras to chant, but one is given instructions on how to acquire certain Brahminical qualities. Because a Brahmin is one who is known as a Brahmin by quality, not by birth. Krishna says, Chaturvarna Maya Shishtam, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. That's important. So we want someone to have the guna and the karma, not the guna modes of nature. Guna means qualities in this particular context. And the karma means work, not karmic reaction. So what are the qualities and work of a Brahmin? And that's mentioned by Krishna in Gita. It's easy. I just have to repeat a verse. So makes my work easy. Samodhamaka, for all of you who don't speak Sanskrit. So a Brahmana is supposed to be samadarshi. Seeing things equally. Seeing all living entities are equal because they all have Krishna in the heart. They're all equal souls. Being equal in happiness and distress. Krishna's first lesson in the Gita, right? Mantra sparshas to Kontiya. It's just being equal poised in all circumstances. Heat, cold, pleasure, pain, etc. Samadhamma. Dhamma means tame. taming what? The senses. Because the senses right now are adanta, which means uncontrolled. Adanta gopir vishatam tamishram purnak purnas charavita charavananam. The problem, according to Prahlad Maharaj, is that when you have uncontrolled senses, you keep doing the same thing, thinking you're going to get a different result, which the great Acharya Albert Einstein said is the definition of insanity. So most of us are insane like that, because we keep doing the same thing. All right, I think I'm going to this is going to make me happy, this is going to make me happy, this is going to make me happy. It never works. Tomorrow it will work. So that's insanity. So Dhamma, we control the senses by engaging them in Krishna's service. That's all. We engage the tongue in eating nice prasadam, engage the eyes in seeing the beautiful form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Radha Gopinath. We engage the hands in serving in different ways, all the senses, the active senses and the perceptive senses. So, Dhamma, tapa. And so there's this tapa is interesting. We talked about this the other day. It means fire. So it means austerity generally. So tapa means we accept things favorable for Krishna and we reject things unfavorable. That's the tapa, that's the sharanagati, or the surrender we have towards Krishna. It's very simple. Tapa, shocha means cleanliness. Cleanliness internally by always yaksmaret pundarikaksham. You chanted that already? That's a very interesting verse. Yaksmaret pundarikaksham savayatara shuchi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. That by always remembering Krishna, remembering the sankalpa again, our purpose, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, 24/7, that's our challenge. And then we remain clean in our heart, free of impurities like lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, etc. like that. Also, shocham refers to external cleanliness. Prabhupada said a Brahmin has to be extremely clean, inside and outside. And then other qualities of Brahman are tolerance, which is similar to, sama, Shantir Arjavam, honesty. Brahman should always be honest, tell the truth, and not only tell the truth, honesty means you act the truth. You say something, you're not a hypocrite. You do what you say you're doing. You don't say to people who are working with you, don't do as I do, do as I say. My parents used to use that on me. Don't do as we do as we say. That's pretty good. That's hypocrisy. So, and then jnana vijnana, regularly studying and understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the practical philosophy, which is called Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana, understanding who God is, who the soul or what the soul is, who you are, what this material energy is. Very simple stuff. You don't have to learn Sanskrit. Don't worry. Not necessary. One of Prabhupada's greatest devotees, purest devotees, one of my godbrothers, Jayananda, he couldn't speak a word of Sanskrit. No verses. In fact, he couldn't even pronounce his Gayatri mantra. And Prabhupada actually said, just think of him instead, to think of Prabhupada instead of chanting Gayatri. So you don't have to learn these things, but you have to learn basically what the material energy is so you can identify illusion and you can identify Krishna when Krishna comes around. Just like when Krishna was present, most of the people couldn't identify him. And sometimes they got their heads chopped off because of that. There's God. Like Duryodhana, for example. Even after Duryodhana saw the universal form, he thought, I could still win the battle. That is the ultimate in stupidity, isn't it? So we cultivate knowledge. And Sambandha means to understand what everything is. Abhideya means to understand how to act and cultivate a higher consciousness. And Prayojana means what is the goal? There's the sankalpa again. Where's the goal? Where do I want to be in the future? What do I want my consciousness to be like in the future? And then, so, jnana, vijnana, and you practice what you preach. Jnana, vijnana, astikyam, yeah, so that religious. Brahma, karma, svabhavajam. So these are the qualities of a Brahmin. And this is whether or not you get or obtain or manifest these qualities will determine whether you are an actual Brahmin, not the thread or the mantras. Prabhupada said one time, if someone gets the thread and doesn't have the qualities of a Brahmin, then we can call them a sacred thread holder. Now, don't say that to other people. That's not nice. But apply it to yourself. So, I mean, this is Krishna consciousness, and it's blissful. The more you continue Krishna consciousness, the happier you'll be. I mean, I've been following Krishna consciousness for 53, 54, 55 years, whatever it is. And each day gets better. You know, of course, you get an old body at the end, but don't complain to Krishna about that. He warns you about it. Janma mrityu jara vyadi. He says it's going to happen, so, you know, you were pre-warned. But each day, no matter what state your body is, you feel happier and happier and happier in Krishna consciousness. This is the proof. So just look at the future like that. You want to be happy, that's the goal. To be happy, to make Krishna happy, you're on the right path. Okay, so that's the so-called lecture. So we can proceed with giving the names, if that's all right. Where are the beads? Do you have the beads with you? Do you have the beads with you? Oh, good. That's good. Okay, so let me call people up in order. Yeah, let me give the order because I got little stickers with their names on them. So the first one is Prasad. After that is Jaya Prakash. Okay, they're going up to Prabhupada. Okay.
It comes this way. No, it's blocked. Come this way.
Oh. And so it's very important that they respect His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada because they're accepting Srila Prabhupada as their, as the primary source of shiksha and also promising to remain faithful to Srila Prabhupada's institution and serve Srila Prabhupada's institution. This is very, very important. And the third person who can follow him is Malobika. That's you. Okay, you have to follow their path, follow in their footsteps. Mahajaniyena Gatasa Pantha. All right, put it in order. Next is Shavina. Where's she? Oh, there. And next is Tarun. Next is, after that is Gital. And finally, but last but not least, is Natasha. Okay, you ready? I get another mala. Hare Krishna. And where's the beads? Okay. So, what are the four regulated principles?
No illicit sex, no meat eating, including onion and garlic, no gambling, no intoxication, including coffee and tea.
Okay. And how many rounds do you chant every day?
16 rounds.
16 rounds, okay. And on Kadasi, try to chant more if you can. I don't make a specific vow. but it's good to chant more rounds. Sometimes on the Kadasi I chant 64 or more rounds. So, get the beads with your right hand. So your name now is Pramana Das. Hare Krishna. So the word Pramana, it means the understanding or conclusion of the Vedic literatures. Praman. You know, what's the Praman? You've heard this word. In Hindi, it's a similar word, but what's the understanding? Pramana Das Ki Jai. It's a nice name. Okay, and so Jai Prakash is the next one. Another mala. Beads. Your name is Krishna Leela. So anyway, what are the 4 regulated principles?
No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex.
Very good. And how many rounds every day?
16 minimum rounds.
Rounds. And if you can chant more on the Kadasi, it's very good. So the beads with your right hand, just the right hand. So your name now is Jaya Dharma Das. Jaya Dharma Das Ki Jai. Of course, everybody knows what that means. That's not a difficult one. So, okay, Malavika. So, okay. Dandavat Kuro. Yeah, actually, pranam is the right word. So, what are the 4 regulated principles?
No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling.
Okay. And how many rounds every day?
Minimum 16 rounds.
That's good. And so you get the beads with your right hand, and your name is Manasvi Devi Dasi. Manasvi. That's the name of Radharani. Okay. Okay, next is Shavina. Okay. Manasvi. Okay. Okay. Pranam Kuro. To be more precise. So, what are the 4 regulated principles?
No intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit.
That's easy. And what are the 4 regulated? I mean, what is how many rounds every day?
15 rounds and some extras on the condition.
If you can. You know, we follow Ekadashi. So your name now is, get the beads with your right hand, is Shantani Devi Dasi. Shantani Devi Dasi Ki Jai. That's also a name of Radharani. Okay. Tarun. Okay. And beads. Okay, so why don't you sit down? See it back. What are the 4 regulated principles? Okay, and how many rounds? If possible, more on the Kadasi. Okay, so your name now, right hand, is Tatvavit Das. Here we go. Tatvavit means the knower of the truth. The knower of the truth. And so, what? No, it's all right. I'm used to this. Thank you. Yeah, in Fiji, sometimes we get 100 garlands and then the head disappears. So what are the 4 regulated principles? And how many rounds? Yeah, whatever you can do on the Kadasi. So you get the beads with your right hand. So your name now is Gauravani Devi Dasi. And I think everybody knows what Gauravani, it's part of Prabhupada's Pranam mantra. The instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wow, what a name. Okay, finally Natasha. Okay. And so what are the regular principles? Yeah. Good. And how many rounds? 16. If you can do, if it's not mandatory. So your name now, get the beads with your right hand, is Nama Prema Devidasi. Nama Prema Devidasi Kijai. That means love for the holy name. Hare Krishna. It's a nice name, isn't it? Okay, so and the people who are taking Gayatri mantra are supposed to get their thread, although I haven't chanted on them yet. So we should take time for me to chant on the threads right now? Or? Yeah, that's the important thing. Oh, so I don't need extra threads. I can save money. But they're all together. Okay, you got it. Okay, wait, it's getting a little too much right now.
Okay, take some air first. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, where's Krishna Leela? Oh, he disappeared.
It's getting too much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jai Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol, good, Haribol.
So you got to take the right. Oh yeah, you got it. Okay.
Wrap off.
Right hand
Right hand.
and
Jai.
the left head.
Thank you so much, good. Haribol. Just like that?
All right, that's it. And you get the mantra later.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I've got some dakshina as well.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
just, I forgot
You give
the,
it now
I forgot the
or-
envelope, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I'll give you some more later.
Yeah, whatever. Thank you. Haribo. Brahman. You don't get a thread though. The ladies don't get a thread. I'm liberal, but not that liberal. Oh, yeah. All right, that's all right, that's all right. Mantra later. Okay. Whoop. Another mantra. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Rama Hare Hare. I just want to mention, we're honored also that some of the disciples of Kadamba Kandana Maharaj are sitting here in their sacrifice. And I was just with him in Vrindavan, and such a great, pure Vaishnava. I mean, just overwhelmed with his level of Krishna consciousness. So I'm just honored that you're sitting at the same sacrifice here. So we're very happy. And then I was also very impressed with Jayadvaita Maharaj's devotion to his disciple, And I learned a lot about Vaishnava behavior just by observing both of them. So you're very fortunate. Hare Krishna. Okay. That's for me? You go online or what? Facebook or? Oh my God.
So devotees can repeat after me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Sadati Svadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Vamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Sadhuvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitam Swaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bir Krishna Das Goswami Dinamine Swaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Swaha 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhe Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Nama Swaha 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 Madhuryojvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murte Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Namo Gaurakishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murte Vipralambha Rasambodhe Padam Bhujaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Kamal Prabhu, Hari Prabhu, Lakri Dano Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varaya Te Swaha 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 Gauravirbhava Bhumestvam Nirdishtha Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannatha Yate Namaha Swaha 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 Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanyaya Namine Gaura Twise Namah Swaha 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 Panchatattvatkam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha 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 He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Swaha 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 Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Bhujau Radha Madan Mohano Swaha 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 Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnangara Simhasana Stho Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Presthalibhi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha 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 Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamshivata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swanair Gopi Gopinatha Shriya Astu Nam Swaha 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 Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Swaha 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha 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 Om Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Swaha Swaha. I will only offer ghee oblations. Om Bhu Swaha Idam Vishnave Idam Namam. Om Bhu Swaha Idam Achyutaya Idam Namam. Om Swaha Idam Naranaya Idam Namam. Om Bhurva Swaha Idam Anantaya Idam Namam. The devotees can stand up now with your bananas.
Yep.
Also the remainder of the grains we will also offer in 3 portions. Please repeat after me. Leave the grains at the bottom. Just hold the bananas first for the initiates. Please repeat after me, chant after me. Om Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagathitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Swaha. Let Gurudev come first. All right, devotees can offer you bananas. Now the remainder of the grains with this mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Eva Vashishyate. We'll offer it in 3 portions. Swaha Swaha Swaha. All right. The devotees can go around the fire pit 7 times with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the initiates. Also, after the parikrama of the Havan Kund, devotees can participate in the Aarti. Just a reminder to all the devotees, please do not come and take the prasadam from the Yajna Kund yet. The devotees will collect the prasad from the fire pit and it will be distributed outside at the prasadam, with the prasadam. I'll ask somebody to start chanting. Somebody there? Bhaja Govinda Prabhu. Prabhu here, chant. हाँ इसको बाल कमल प्रभु कहाँ है इसको बाल इसको जलाओ हाँ और क्या आपने कपूर क्यों खत्म किया वाह 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 वो ले लो मत छोड़ो Give it to me. Yeah.